How's it going? How's it going, guys? So I really want to take the time to talk about um, how to start your cargo van business, right? And so I'm gonna jump right into it. As you can see, we have chapter one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Chapter one, how to get started. Chapter two, classification of legal structure. Chapter three, how to choose your insurance. Uh, Chapter 4, where can I find loads? Chapter 5, what is the best cargo van or box truck? Chapter 6, would I need an MC and DOT number? Chapter 7, do I need a factory copy? And so I'm gonna get right into it. Reason why I made this book, um, I made this video, guys, because a lot of people really don't have time to take um, the information that I have in the book, right? And so I'm not gonna give you everything that's in my book, but I'm gonna give you the nuts and bolts to get started, right? So let's jump in chapter one. How to start a cargo van. First, you have to choose a name. Second, you have to develop your cargo van and box truck business strategy. And how do you do that? You do a business plan, guys. You have to have a executive summary. You have to have an overview of the company that you are trying to establish. You have to have a competitive analysis for your competition, right? You have to have a marketing plan, which is very important to get in any business. And more important, um, you want to talk about the location. Where the launch that business is it viable for you to launch in that location? Is that market oversaturated? It is very important that you do all these things. See, people want to jump into this business, guys, and really don't do the homework. They get the van, they get the trucks, and say, "Hey, man, how can I get in this business?" I'm gonna tell you guys, it's not that easy, right? By the time you bought that van, uh, now the clock is ticking. You have to see how you're going to get loads. And that's why it's so important that you buy this book, guys. It gives you everything that you need, right? And so moving forward, are you going to have staff, people helping you get your loads, or are you going to be a one-man show, right? That's important. And so the next one is called classification of legal structure. What is that? Are you going to be a sole proprietorship, or are you going to be a limit LLC, or are you going to be a C corp, or are you going to be an S corp? Right? It's so important that you understand your legal structure. I'm not going to get into that. It's in the book, right, as well. So if you buy the book, you will be able to get this information. Uh, the next chapter is going to be, where do I find my loads, right? Okay, so it's important. Um, and also, I'm just going back a little bit. I'm sorry. The next one is, how do I uh, how do I choose my insurance? Your insurance is really important, and because if you are going to get a MC or a DOT, right? It's important that, keep in mind, shippers and brokers are going to require you to have a DOT and an MC, and you're going to have $1 million policy liability, and you're gonna have to have 100,000 cargo or more. Depends on what you're hauling. Typically, if you're driving a box truck, a lot of times you might be hauling 250,000 or 300,000, right? Depends on what you're carrying, right? Cargo van, 100,000 is pretty much would be essential. And so you have Progressive is really one of the biggest company that a lot of people use, right? Berkshire and Hathaway, I think it's, if I'm saying it right. is Warren Buffett company. So his company also offer insurance. Uh, I think if you go through a broker can broker several different companies and give you the best pricing. And so that's really important in regards how you choose your insurance. If you just want to be a courier company where you just want to drop off uh, packages and medical, typically you need 100,000 cargo, 300,000 liability. And so you don't need a DOTMC, but you do need sometimes certification, which is HIPAA. You're gonna need a DOT, right? Because if you're gonna be doing um, blood pathology and sample of urine and things like that, that you are gonna be picking up and taking it from location to location, guys, you're gonna need that information. And so as you can see, business insurance. The next step is going to be, bear with me, uh, where can I find my loads? As you can see there as well, I just talked about that. What is the best cargo van? Well, let's talk. Let's get right into it, guys. You know, it depends on how much money you're willing to spend. Typically, um, you know, you can get your Ram Pro Master, right? Uh, Brand new, you're gonna spend about 50,000 for a Ram Pro Master. If you're talking about a Transit, you're probably spending anywhere from 65 to about 70,000 or 75,000. And if you're talking about Mercedes Benz Sprinter, which is the most expensive one, um, you're gonna spend it essentially close to 100,000, 88 to 90,000 for. And so, what is the difference between all three? I experienced, the Sprinter and also uh, and the ProMaster, right? What I do know, the ProMaster is a front wheel drive. Sprinter is a rear wheel drive, and also, if I'm not mistaken, the Transit is a rear wheel drive. Why is that important? So, if you are driving in uh, spreads in a winter conditions, right? It's important to understand that if you are sliding and you get stuck in snow, how are you going to get out of those weather conditions, right? It's important that you have front wheel drive, and uh, if you're driving a Sprinter van, you want to look at that Sprinter van and say, hey, you know what? Um, you got a four-cylinder, right? Mercedes Sprinters are some of them are diesel, right? I think you got a Ram ProMaster as well as a diesel as well, right? I don't know, but I know I have a gas. And so now you're talking about when it comes down to uh, how expensive it is to maintain. You know, uh, you're gonna spend $1,400 to $2,000 for rotors and brakes for Mercedes. everybody every mechanic can't work on a Mercedes, but every mechanic can work on a ProMaster or they can work on your Transit, right? So you got to weigh your your options there, right? It's gonna be if if the Sprinter goes down and you don't have a warranty, it's gonna be very costly, right? So that is important, right? If when it comes down to the box truck, you know, it's a couple ones out there, right? You have Hino, which is more of a foreign box truck, or you have Freightliner, right? Freightliner is very, A lot of people use Freightliner, or you have Mack Truck is now in the industry. So it's a lot of companies out there um, for the 26-foot trucks. Uh, without the spares, the Freightliner is definitely one of the best trucks out there. Hands down. So that's my opinion. Maybe other people have other opinions, but um, it has been very reliable. Moving right along, guys. Will I need a MC or DC, MC or DC? So let's jump right into it, right? A DOT is like your trucking company driver's license. You can obtain that from the FMCSA, right? And if you need information, let me know, guys. What is the MC? It's it is what they call a motorist carrier number, right? It is known as operating authority. And so your MC is what gets you your loads, guys. So if you want to really look at it, that is important to get your MC. Why is it important? Because if you don't have an MC, right, how do you book the loads on the load boards? It's impossible not not to have it, right? Um, and if your vehicle is under 10,000 pounds, typically you don't need an MC, right? But in order to book loads, you will need an MC. And that's just the requirements for the shippers and uh, and also the brokers, guys. And finally, um, what is a factory company? A factory company, guys, is simple. What do they do? A factory company typically would allow you to have cash flow. As you can see here, you can see here, guys, you have it's account receivable. They factor it, you get cash, and here's the company. It's a circle. So just say that I just drop off a load and I'm down 500 or 600 miles away. I don't have the cash flow. So depends on what time of the day you are. If you have a factory company, they probably factor your loads 2 to 3% uh, of that amount, right? So if you got you got $1,000, and you just do the math, you get 2% or 3%, maybe about $40 or $30, right? Of what they're gonna ask for in return to give you operating capital to keep moving, right? And so every time that you drop off a load, you go through a factoring company. They essentially they buy your what we call your bill of lading. They buy the bill of lading from you, right? And they essentially pay you up front. What they typically do is say, hey, you know what? Let me look and see if this company is a reputable company, if they pay on time. And so if they pay on time, right? Typically what happened is their brokers jet load. If they don't pay on time, right? A lot of times they say, well, you know what? I, I can't buy this load. So guys, with that being said, um, I really wanted to give you the nutshell of the business model of what my company does. Go to www.cargovanbusiness.com and you can get the book today. And I encourage you to get the book, guys. I'm not just selling a book. The book is would help you grow your business immediately. I just gave you the nuts and bolts of what I have in the book. Okay, guys. With that being said, thank you so much for chiming in.